This is Lauren.
This is Trey.
And this
is the Partnership Podcast.
Hello, friends. Lauren here. Just wanted to give a special shout out to a couple different things today. On today's episode, we talked a lot about menstruation. If this is a topic that you'd like to know more about, I would love to work one-on-one with you or welcome you into Hemlock, my monthly membership program where all these things are talked about all the time. To schedule a free 15-minute consult, go to sexedforyou.com/free consult. To join Hemlock, go to sexedforyou.com/Hemlock. Let me know if you have any questions. You can always zip me an email at lauren@sexedforyou.com or send me a DM on Instagram or leave a comment on YouTube or Spotify. Have a great day.
That gets backed up if you're interested in that by like maybe hours of like research and then application. So yeah, I'm a fad follower.
I just learned something new about you. I did not know that. For some reason, I thought you came about your process in a different way.
Like I read like an encyclopedia or something?
Down in the basement? Are we going to tell the audience?
What? What
you've been doing in the basement?
They know what I do in that basement. Everybody knows what I do in that basement.
No, but the audience also knew that you were off porn.
Yeah, I relapsed.
You didn't really relapse.
I relapsed. If I'm masturbating to like video images, it's a relapse. I got on the Ersties. Is that what it's called? The ethical porn thing? Mm-hmm. Yeah, I got on their Twitter page and I just cranked one out to these hot conversations of consent and things like that. So yeah, I relapsed.
I just think it was so cute.
But I haven't gone back to like commercial factory farm porn. I haven't gone back to like all of those. I don't want to go back down that
porn
hole.
What did you? Isn't that what you called it?
Yeah.
I thought that was an interesting. I think the observations that you made through the experiment that I would say is still continuing was mindfulness, right? Mm-hmm. And observation, and it's funny. I struggle when people say like, well, using porn is an escape. I'm like, using pleasure to bring the cortisol levels down and to bring us back to body is not necessarily an inherent wrong. Now, when it takes away from, say, a necessary conversation with your spouse or your partner or the work that you need to do, right? If it's prohibiting other good stuff, then sure, that's worth like mindfully looking at. Mm-hmm. If it's done in deceit, if it's damaging the relationships around you because, I don't know, you're feeling like you're eroticizing secrecy, that's a reason to look at something.
Or if it's starting to become an addiction where like you don't want to do it, but then you're just doing it anyway.
Mm-hmm. And to that,
and then if it's fucking up like actual sex in your life, or if it's preventing you from going out and trying to seek actual physical partners, like physical consenting partners.
Because it's more difficult.
It's much more difficult.
Absolutely. But if one is doing it, I had a fascinating conversation yesterday with someone who is reading the book Becoming Clitorate, which is an incredible book by Dr. Laurie Mintz. And they're for the first time reading about masturbation and all of the incredible benefits hormonally it can have, especially for vulva-bearing people. And she just grew up in a world where masturbation was sinful. Mm-hmm. And she has all these people who feel they are, quote, addicted to masturbation. Research shows that those people who grew up in, for instance, religious cultures who feel that they're addicted to masturbation, masturbate once a week, once every 2 weeks, once a month. And to that I say that is just a deficient amount of information. That's not an addiction. That's wrong and almost harmful information that is telling us that a behavior is wrong when a behavior was developmentally normal and sexually beautiful. And so I just struggle when people are like, well, once a month I use porn to escape and I feel so bad. I'm like, well, if you're using sex, we said on this podcast that sex isn't something you do, sex is someplace you go. I think that sex does feel like an escape, especially to female people. So often they are looking for adventure and surprise, and orgasm, to me at least, like a pleasure practice, a masturbatory practice, can feel like an escape from the drudgery of the everyday. And to me, that's a superpower.
It's a stress reliever also.
Yeah, to get to take this breath away from the monotony, which it's okay. Like, I love the monotony of my life, but it's really fun to go like to a fantasy island in my imagination. And the fact that we vilified that breaks my heart sometimes. So I think this observation that you've done, staying out of the porn hole, which takes away from other things that you desire to do sometimes.
Sure.
Yeah. Is worth observing. Cool. Right? Going to it when your baby's leaving dishes in the sink instead of, right, talking with her. Sure, that would be worth observing. I don't know. I didn't even mean to go on that tangent, but I'm just thinking about that conversation that I had yesterday where it breaks my heart that people were led to believe that, yeah, their own body's pleasure, the stress relief, is wrong.
Yeah, it's kind of a fucked up way of controlling someone.
Yeah.
Yeah, demonizing that.
And
Or saying it's evil.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like, what does evil have to do with it? For fuck's sake.
And so many people were taught to believe that, in essence, they were objectifying someone else with their mind.
Which is hot.
Right. And that was lust, and that was wrong, and that was sexualization. Yeah. So to that I say, book a free 15-minute consult with Sex Ed for You. We'll talk about the circles of sexuality and how so many of us were not given true comprehensive sexuality education, and the difference between the erotic imagination and actual life. And it's really good to know the difference.
It's so awakening to be able to access an erotic imagination, like in a healthy way, in a consensual way with your partner. It's so fucking fun.
Yeah, go back and listen to
Creative monogamy.
Yeah, go back and listen to Monogamy and the Erotic Mind. It's like an episode, a couple episodes back, and you and I go into it at length. It's so fun. It's so, yeah, a sexual encounter becomes not only a sexual encounter, it becomes like a joint trip. We go on an adventure together. And
it's a really inexpensive vacation.
It is. And we talk about on that episode how I long for adventure and surprise and all of these things, and allowing ourselves to share erotic imagination, like connects us even more deeply and gives me that.
What was mine? Like, I don't long for adventure and surprise.
You like security and home, and you were
like
like, everybody likes that.
And routine. Yeah.
Yes. And then I was like, do you like adventure and surprise? And you were like, or do you need it?
I like it in the imagination because it's so less sticky. It's like a dream scenario where you're just there. Wherever you are, wherever you want to be, you're there. Easy.
Easy peasy. Lemon squeezy.
Yeah. Adventure and surprise. Like, the adventure is like, I got to figure out why the refrigerator is leaking. That's my adventure right now.
Yeah.
And then it's like, I was shitty with my 56 degree yesterday. So I have to go get some reps in. That's my adventure. I don't want to go to Bali.
No.
I don't want to go to London.
No, I know.
For a lot of different reasons, mainly because 1776. I haven't forgotten. And you should never forget.
But this is precisely...
You try to fight a war in the forest wearing red coats.
Why it's
Shame
so
on
important.
you. Shame on you for trying to do.
Dear listeners.
I do not like the British.
Is that, as much as we love our Trey, that's not very erotically exciting.
What? Yeah. You and me both, sister.
So it's such a gift. It's such a gift. I want to talk about, speaking of lemon squeezy and sticky situations. How'd you like that transition?
Yeah.
Do you like that?
Speaking of iron deficiencies.
Speaking of red coats. Do you like that?
Good. That was very good.
Thank you.
Go ahead, honey. Keep it moving, though.
I'm slow today. I didn't sleep very well last night. Okay. The reason I didn't sleep very well last night, I can't even speak anymore, is I'm on day 3 of my menstrual cycle. And for people who follow along with Sex Ed for You, you know that I speak about menstrual cycles a lot. And I have this entire time we've ever been in relationship together, because it has become so integral to my life, to my human self. It's how I work. It's how I play. It's how I interact with my people. And I'm mindful of it and have brought you into the process. And I can get really horny when I menstruate as well. So a topic that comes up often with my clients is how they feel gross or disgusting on their periods, and how their partner, male-bodied partner in these situations, would be totally fine and down to have sex and to interact and all of these things, but they feel gross. So I'd like to talk about period sex.
Sure.
I'd like to tell some funny stories, one of which I don't know if you've ever heard. I know it's still very embarrassing. I tried to tell it on social media and I got like red and like started sweating profusely. Okay, so we'll tell that story about how horny Lauren gets when she's menstruating and how she'll go to know she'll do what she has to do. But then we actually got sent a product recently that we've been using to prevent messes, and it's been pretty great. So I want to talk about that as well. And then I want to hear if you have any hilarious stories of ever having other period sex with other people and it going wrong, or horror stories. I had my audience submit stories too, so I've got some good ones from them too. Anyway, I hope that my hope, if there is one, is that it normalizes a very healthy thing that happens in menstruating people's bodies, and that people don't listen to this and feel like they need to have sex on a period, but that they can if they want to. So yeah, I want to ask you a couple of questions.
Sure.
And then you can tell some stories. Have you ever been grossed out by period sex? If so, how did you overcome it?
It's funny. I don't like blood, but it like, I don't equate period blood to like, blood, like getting cut open or like stabbed or like a gunshot wound that's gushing blood, because I mean, like a woman's period is, that's kind of how we all got here. So it's like the sun comes up and it goes down, a woman has a period. It's nature. So it doesn't, like, personally, no, I don't mind it at all.
Oh, I'm getting horny just you talking. Woman nature.
You're welcome.
Why did that just like turn me on? I went from like...
I think women are beautiful. And I think they're really strong, and I think they're really powerful, and they can do whatever they want to on this earth.
I love you. Was your mom open about her period? Like, did you know she
actually talked about sexuality at a very young age.
Okay.
Like, I remember it was like some friends and I, while we were in elementary school, like we found like unopened condoms.
Oh, awesome.
And she showed me, like, on a fucking zucchini of all things, like what a condom does and like how to put it on and what this is for. It's for protection.
When you guys found it, like,
yeah,
in that
when we
moment,
found it, it was just me. Like, she didn't sit us all down and say, "Hey, kids." So yeah, my mom was open about sexuality at a very young age. Talking about her period, I just remember seeing tampons.
Okay, yeah.
So yeah, it was never anything that was hidden from me.
Because when
it was normalized at a young age.
Okay, yeah. Shout out to sexuality education. That is, one of my favorite teachers says that we're all sex educators if we're around children at all. We are all sexuality educators because children observe and they see what is modeled for them. So when it comes to consent, when it comes to little things like that, when we normalize when a kid finds something and we're not like, don't touch that, or that's for adults. Instead, if we just explain at their ability of understanding, it's all fine. They grew up knowing what a condom does. It's not a bad thing to know.
That's crazy. Like if my mom were to say that's evil, where it's like it's a little package that looks like a wet nap. It's like, how is this fucking
right?
How is this evil?
Or just for adults. That's not for children.
It's like, how is it? But it's just a little wet nap. It's a little package.
I
thought it was a wet nap.
Sure. Yeah. When we first met, I remember being kind of shocked at. Oh, this makes me sad. How readily you would monitor my tampon surplus, and you would buy them like as if they were just groceries. You'd be like, "Oh, babe, I saw you're low on tampons. I bought you a box."
Yeah.
Like,
or you'd ask me to.
As if this was, no, you did it the first time without really even being asked. It was like you were picking up paper towels.
I'm assuming I was buying tampons at a young age then, because I did the grocery shopping we lived right across the street from the grocery store. So I was doing the grocery shopping. Like, I'd get a card and the people would know me in like the 6th grade, maybe
Really?
younger. So I'm assuming I was buying tampons.
Your mom's tampons, like,
Yeah, I was raised by my mom. Excuse me. And I'm assuming I was doing that at a young age. So yeah, it's like paper towels. It's actually a paper towel for your
vagina.
Correct. It's a Joe Rogan joke. Tampons were made by a man because it's like, yeah, just stick something up there.
Yeah. Shout out. Take my mindful menstruation class. We can talk about all the other things for periods. Okay. Yeah, I was so touched. And then do you remember when you left? This is gonna make me cry. We do sometime need to talk about that period of our life. When you left and went back to Long Beach on June 1st, 2020, you went grocery shopping the day before you left. I'm really gonna cry. And you bought me like 2 boxes of tampons.
I did?
Yeah. And you said, because I won't be here. And like, as if you were, because it got to a point, audience, Trey does all the 90% of our grocery shopping and 90% of our supplies are acquired by him. And you wanted to make sure that I didn't go without. And I just thought, like, what a comprehensive way to care for someone. Like, he's caring for my menstrual cycles for the next 3 months.
The pandemic was hard.
It was so hard. Yeah, you leaving was so hard because I'd never been cared for like that through every phase of me. And this is something one of my audience members on Instagram mentioned. She asked if we could bring up the fact that so many menstruating people are vilified for having a period. Like, it's that time of the month again. Or, oh, she's being dramatic because she's on her period. Or, oh, somebody's PMSing. You've never said anything like that to me. Do you know why? Like, is it just far from your mind? I don't know. Like, have you heard that kind of talk from other cisgendered men?
Yeah, like chauvinistically. I've heard it as like a joke, or I've heard it as a line in a film, or like, this is what the chauvinist, like, villain archetype says. I don't think I've ever heard it in reality. Does it happen a lot?
Yeah,
if it does,
so much.
then it's just a lack of perspective is the nice way of saying it, or just being a nasty fucking asshole is another way of saying it, where it's like, bro, have you ever had a headache? Have you ever had a migraine? Have you ever had sinuses? Have you ever been hungover? And these are all of the things that can be debilitating for you getting through your day. And I see sometimes it just shuts you down, because then I can relate that way. If I'm hungover, if I have sinuses, if I have a migraine or a headache, if I'm sore, it can really debilitate you and just shut you down for the day, or you just get foggy throughout your day. And if a man can't really understand that's what a woman's going through, then they're stupid. That's all it is. And then you just have empathy for that stupid person. That's it. Because I'm assuming these are dudes. I mean, like, women know what women go through.
Yeah.
So it's just dumb man shit then. And that's fine.
Okay, so on that, let's keep that rolling.
Just forgive them for being stupid. That's all it is. Just stupid, arrogant, ignorant. Forgive them. They know not what they do, or whatever it is.
Okay,
Yeah.
so I love that. Thank you. We've never talked about this.
Hey, baby, it's Shark Week.
I know.
Fire away with your questions.
Yeah, you do say Shark Week. It's never offended me, though, because that's the stance you take on it. A lot of people are offended by the term Shark Week, but I'm not, because of what you do. And I think, I'm getting off topic. I want to talk about this. A friend reached out also yesterday. Everything's been centered around menstruation, and said she started her period at work, and she works with all men. What would you want someone to do in that situation? She has nothing. She's bleeding through her jeans. Let's give them the benefit of the doubt. Let's say these aren't stupid, idiot men. If that happened, my sister was here or something like that, what would you want someone to, like, how in the world does someone bring this up? Like, hey,
how does she bring this up to her male coworkers?
Yeah, like if she needs to excuse herself and go to the bathroom, does she just bluntly say, how would you, in a male perspective, as a person who actually gives a shit about this bleeding person, right? You're not that. And I think what we do sometimes is we assume that male-bodied people are going to be what you
we
just
suffer
said.
more in our imagination.
Exactly.
Sure.
So like, let's give them the benefit of the doubt for a hot second. Maybe they actually would be.
They have wives. They have teenage daughters. Yeah, they
let's say
understand.
let's say that they get, maybe they have a sister, right?
Yeah.
Like they grew up with somebody
Around
who
women.
menstruates.
Yeah.
So say they're not idiots, but we're a little paralyzed by all the idiots we have been around who make derogatory comments. How could you? Yeah, say it was my sister.
Oh, you know what? Maybe you don't have to say your period at all. It's like, homies, I'm going through. Like, this is a challenging week for me because, I don't.
Like, she started at work. She did not have any tampons.
Well, what's she doing at work without tampons? It just happens?
No, because sometimes it'll come early.
Okay, fuck.
And there was nothing in the bathrooms.
Yeah.
And so we did talk through this, that she's like, I am going to, this is the thing. It's like, in retrospect, we all have a clear mind. We're like, well, this is unacceptable. This is not
and in the future, we can be prepared for this.
Yes, like we need to put a thing. It's a co-ed bathroom or something. Like there should be a thing on the counter of extra tampons and pads and stuff like that.
Okay.
But in the moment, like, do you tell people? Do you ask for understanding? Do you? Because, okay, so say they do see that she bled through her jeans.
Yeah.
Like, where does that responsibility lie? I know, because there's just such a stigma and taboo, and my heart breaks. And I have thoughts, but I
as a man, I just want to help you. I'd want to get you a sweatshirt so you can cover up, so you can put it around your waist. Mm-hmm. As a man, I'd be like, okay, do you want me to run to the store for you? This is an exceptional practice, though. Do you want me to run for the store for you? How can we like get you another pair of jeans? Is there something I can do for you to kind of, make you feel more comfortable?
Yeah.
That would probably be the move. I'm sorry you got caught by surprise with the tampons. Is there a way to keep them in your car? Is there a way to keep them in your desk if you have a desk there? Is there a way to keep them on you in case this happens? But fuck. I mean, this is like, baby, I don't.
No,
this is all kind of day one stuff from me. But if this happens to somebody, I just want to be supportive of that person.
That's all.
Yeah.
Isn't it interesting that like 50% of our population bleeds and like every bathroom in the US isn't stocked with, like, it just cracks me up that like there aren't distributors in the bathrooms around the country. Like, it's just fascinating to me. Like, this is a everyday thing. It's as necessary as toilet paper.
As a staunch capitalist, it's a good way to,
right?
Yeah, the old quarter machine.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, not even like, why are we making people pay? Like, if they were caught off guard, right? Think about the fact that I was talking about this with the baby.
Like, reverse it. If men bled, knowing us, knowing how like sweet we are, we'd have them in every bathroom. There'd be legislation passed.
And it could just be mandatory.
Yeah.
It's like, well, but we never know when we're going to start bleeding. And people would be like, well, you could count. And they'd be like, that's a lot of work.
It would be mandatory.
Donna mandatory. But ching. I love what you said, because there are ways to help and support somebody who gets caught off guard. Sometimes a period will start a day early, 2 days early, and you're just caught off guard, or you didn't count right, or you forgot the last time it started a day. Or it's a lot of math.
Baby, let me ask you this: what would you want in your situation? There's 5 male coworkers. You're the lone female coworker. What would you want during?
I don't think
your cycle if you get caught off guard?
I think what I would want is exactly what you just said. So I'm now trying to think of how to ask for that. I think maybe if there's a messaging device, that would be most like me. Like if there's
cell phone?
If there's an office, like if we're all on separate computers or something like that. I'm trying to think of these office dynamics. Okay. I could just put it clearly in there, like, hey guys, just started my period unexpectedly.
Are you comfortable
really
saying that? It's a very blunt way of doing it.
Would you be comfortable saying that? I think that's the best way to do it. So the sex educator in me knows that, like, speaking in analogies makes things unclear. people sometimes just want to be clearly communicated to. And I think,
guys, I'm on my period. It's like you could go, it's like the equivalent of having, like, I'm feeling like the equivalent of having a sinus infection as well as a migraine right now.
Yeah.
Interesting. Where then you could equate it to a common thing that we all experience.
well, like if you,
Or it's
and
like I have
started,
a stomach ache, because cramps are very equivalent to a stomach ache, right, babe?
No, cramps are equivalent. Have you seen the Try Guys hook themselves up to like the TENS units where they cramp their abdominal muscles? Have you seen
That's
this?
what it feels like?
Yeah.
Like a muscle cramp? Those are awful.
Yeah. It's really
That's
hard.
what that you say. You say, guys, I'm on my period. I'm cramping. If you've ever had like a muscle cramp, that's what my whole fucking stomach feels like right now. Yeah. Like,
I like the idea though
I have
of
a
giving
fucking migraine.
a task.
I feel like shit.
I want to go back to what you said you'd want to do. How would it feel if somebody said, "Hey, I just started my period completely unexpectedly. Does anybody have time to run across the store? This person's in Manhattan. To run across the street to CVS and grab me, I'll pay you back, a box of tampons and a sweatshirt." Would that be appropriate to let someone step in like that, to ask for what one really needs? I mean, we talk about asking for what you need, want, and desire all the time. Would it be appropriate to just bluntly, how would that make you feel if someone gave a really specific, like, I'm caught off guard, I have blood through my pants, I could really use some help?
I think that would be badass.
Do you think so? Because then
I think
somebody...
it would be fucking badass, because it gives, selfishly, it gives someone else the opportunity to rise to the occasion.
That's what I was thinking,
Where I'd be
too.
like, yes, I can provide value.
Yeah.
The people that get like joy out of providing value and coming in and kind of, I hate saying save the day, but that's what it is.
That's what you... And
I think
the
it's
person
badass.
needs help. Because what I'm thinking is...
And bluntness does win, honey.
It
You're
does.
saying, I kept, in my mind, I kept trying to veil it, but as I'm not a woman, and I've never asked for this before, but I think bluntness wins, and then clearly stating what you need. And this is a legitimate
need. This is not like, oh, right? No, this is something true. Then it kind of got me teary thinking about it too, because think about the community dynamic that just got strengthened. Think about the workplace dynamic that just got strengthened. Think about the bond between those two individuals, the true thankfulness. It's beautiful. What we do when we truly ask for help is we let others know too that we're a safe person to come to ask for help as well.
I acknowledge all of that. Other side of the coin.
Yeah, tell me.
What if you fear being ostracized or made fun of?
Well, and that's why we don't ask. Honestly, it's why individuals have miscarriages in the workplace all the time and nobody knows. It's why people suffer from endometriosis, which is lots of other stuff we could talk from, and go have incredibly painful periods and nobody knows. And menstruating people exist in our world and people try to look the other way. So what I'm encouraging someone to do is the bravest fucking thing on the planet, because people do. There is such a stigma about it being gross. There's such a stigma about taking breaks to go change a tampon or dump a menstrual cup, or we live in a very phallocentric world, like a very masculine energied world. And I am doing my best to help kind of like balance it out. I love men. I love them with my whole heart and soul. But like when you talk about these things, it's very telling.
It's hard to ask for help sometimes. Yeah, and it takes putting yourself out on a ledge and opening yourself up to criticism. And oftentimes we suffer more in our imaginations than in reality. And in a scenario like that, you can give someone else the opportunity to rise to the occasion and help you. People like to help other people, and we all like being helped. And yes, it's hard to ask, but we all like being helped.
Mm-hmm. And I don't know if it's only how my brain works, but I absolutely think of the long-term benefits of something brave like that, right? Because then all parties are more aware. Heck, it might be that male coworker who's like, we need to have these supplies in the bathroom, right? It might be a Trey who, little did you know, he loves a task and is like, now I have put a basket in the bathroom and it's stocked and there's sweatshirts in there.
That's the best case scenario too, where it's like, say one of the coworkers that's the biggest asshole is like, yes, I got you. Completely understand.
Right.
Like that person surprises you and rises to the occasion.
Isn't his like, maybe he's not going to hold
cohesion.
you. Exactly. You start to get to see people in their element. And isn't that always interesting that it is sometimes the vulnerability that breaks the dam, the vulnerability that makes the conversations possible.
Ask for help, be direct. It'll bring out the best or the worst in people.
Yeah. Right? I mean, we talked about the 3-minute game, a couple of weeks ago? And we talked about being afraid of the response, right? Afraid of what would come back. And that's what keeps us from communicating when communication's the only way we ever find out if our needs are going to be met. But my heart does go out to every person. Actually, the memory just came up on my like Google Photos. Do you remember in 2020, before the pandemic happened, I came home from work one day. I had been at a work conference. And so the way my body works is every few months, I will have a period where the lining of my uterus sheds like in big, big clots. And do you remember this? I came home, I had been wearing a skirt. Basically, I had a clot release. It exploded through the tampon. The tampon would never have been enough. They can't absorb a clot. And like it bled all the way down my leg. And I had to leave this like work conference where I was covering social media. Do you remember this at all? I like came home. I was mortified. I mean, I was just devastated. I was just at a work thing. I was prepared. But I bled through everything. I had to like sneak up against a wall and like shimmy myself out and like text a coworker like, I'm so sorry I had to go. And I came home and just like sobbed in the shower because it's mortifying too because of the stigma. Yeah, it just popped up on my time feed like literally yesterday when this person texted.
The male equivalent would be if you shit your pants.
Yeah. Except then we'd look at you and be like, what'd you eat?
Well, why are you clotting?
we have no say.
Why is your uterus leaving your body? Yeah. We had a hot dog.
Yeah. But yeah, thank you for...
We've been there, yeah. That's a good one. Like we've all kings, queens, supermodels, rock stars, Tom Brady. We've all shit our pants. It's the universal language.
Is it?
Just like a smiling face. You want to talk about sex on a period?
Yeah. Okay. I want to know if you've had any hilarious stories of being with a partner and having sex, and then I'm going to tell you mine.
No, I can't think of. I think all of my partners like past and us, it's completely healthy and like period sex is totally fine.
You never like gotten blood on something, oops, and like been like, well, how are we going to clean that up or something?
Like a blood mustache or something like that?
No, like, I don't know, on a white couch or something. Like been with a partner, you didn't know she was on her period, and I don't know, any funny story? You've had a lot of fun partners.
I can't think of anything offhand, but probably the funniest stories have come from me and you.
Okay.
Yeah. I can't. Tell me yours.
Okay. It's so many levels. Maybe it's not funny to anyone else, just me knowing Lauren at this time. Okay. So freshly divorced Lauren was in a sexual revolution time, right? So she was like trying to figure out who she was as a sexual being. And she had a trip coming to Manhattan. And she was very much anticipating sleeping with a certain someone. And I looked ahead at like my period, like when it was going to be. And sure enough, it was going to be on this trip. But I was like bound and determined to still get laid. So this is when I started researching like different types of period products. And I had read about menstrual discs, which I wish I had a thing. They sit up like above the vaginal canal, right at the base of the pelvis. There's like this circular space. So it can sit right below where the cervix is dripping blood and catch it. But it technically sits up at the back of the vaginal canal. So you can technically still have sex with it.
We'll put a picture.
Oh, we will?
Good. Yeah, keep going.
Picture. Boop. Yeah, so there's menstrual discs. Lots of people love them. I have, side note, never had success with menstrual cups because the way my body is built. I am sure there is one on the market, but I always leak through them. Always, just how my body's built up in there. I think there is a nice big space at the base of my pelvis, which makes having babies great, but not for products like getting a seal. You need a seal up in there so that things stay. So embarrassed. Okay. But unlike the...
You got a big-ass vaginal canal? Go ahead. Big Bertha size? Go ahead.
Listen, it comes in handy. So I'm set for New York. I'm practicing with these flex discs. I'm not really having that much success with them, but they're okay. They're okay. And then it comes time for my sexy times. And I'm like, this is going to be great. This is going to be great. And so everything's fine. Everything's fine. I'm getting in the moment. I'm having this passionate encounter. I don't have open communication with this person like I have with you. So I have not mentioned to this person that I am menstruating because I have one goal in mind: to get laid and to get an orgasm. So I am not going to be speaking of these things. I'm like, nobody will know the difference.
Babe, what sexual partner, like your husband was your first, that was a decade. What sexual partner number is this? 2 or 3?
3.
There it is.
Yeah.
Keep going.
Yeah, that's right. Thank you. Thank you. I was a baby. I was a baby.
You're beeping.
Yep. So we're mid position at some point, and I feel what was the seal go, and I think, oh no. And then I just feel additional lubrication that was not coming from my arousal. And I just feel it like oozing down my leg, down everything else, onto the sheets, all this types of stuff. This is the best part. I get my orgasm. They get their orgasm. All is fine. I think there's some sleep. This was really late at night because it's New York City and everything happens so late at night. And then I leave the next morning and don't do a thing. I like get up. I say goodbye. I leave. I don't mention it. It looks like a murder scene.
Oh.
And I'm just like,
peace. What a power move, honey. Did you blame it on him? It's like you got too deep. You got too deep in the pussy.
No.
This is your fault.
Nope. It has never been mentioned.
That's what it is. Your dick is too big.
That's what it is.
Yeah.
Yeah, I could have like gotten around it real easily, couldn't I have, just by like complimenting penis size. Nope. Never mentioned it at all. Like, you know, they talk about the walk of shame, which is a bunch of shit, but like there was definitely that feeling. Anyway, so yeah, I don't recommend.
Good story.
They're totally supposed to be able to be used during intercourse. I don't know. Please, audience, tell me if anybody has ever successfully used one of these during intercourse. I say just tell people. From then on, I did. From then on, I told all other subsequent sexual partners, hey, I'm menstruating. I'm very horny when
And then you put a towel down.
Yeah.
Or if you want to upgrade your life, you put a...
Is it time? Is it time to talk about this?
Do it, babe.
You put down the layer. So this is our moment to talk about this fancy. It looks like I'm gonna what's this? What do they do this?
For a bowl.
Yeah.
Don't hit the mic. For a bowl. Don't pop the mic.
Whoa. Yeah, let's talk about this.
Yeah.
So towels. So back to menstruating. So when a person menstruates, lots of blood flows to all of the great areas. There's like more blood, in the genitals. And so therefore the person with a vulva can feel like really horny and really good. Now, they also might be like, don't touch me and feel painful, right? Boobs can get sore. It can just be uncomfortable. Cramps can be bad, yada, yada. But an orgasm, side note, really good for cramps. Really, really, really good. And because of all the increased blood flow, the experience can be really lovely. So I've always loved period sex. Now, you and I have had years of period sex. Mm-hmm. And then this company, The Layer, on Instagram, they're at get the layer. Oh,
keep going.
Was that like a? Do we just get?
I'm gonna put pictures in.
Woo, woo. Anyway, they reached out and asked if they could send us one of these, and we said sure. And we always like to test a product out, and we've been testing it for how long?
Couple of months.
Couple of months now. And I don't know. What do you want to talk about? What have you liked? What have you liked?
The Layer, blood, semen, squirting. The Layer will protect all of that. This side is completely waterproof. This side is like a nice velvety thing. I didn't do any research, sorry, Layer. But you can wash this bad boy. It's dark also, so it covers up all of those intimate stains. And then you wash it, and then you just dry it on low. I don't know if you're supposed to do that.
You're supposed to hang it to dry. Do you dry it on low? This is nice to know.
I drew it on, you know what? I drew it on low, and it was fantastic, but I love this thing. If you want to murder someone and you don't want to get anything on you, the Layer will provide high-tech technology to keep the blood off of you and the police off of your back. The Layer.
The Layer. Tired of scooting that towel around underneath your bodies while you try to have intimate moments with your partner? Get The Layer. This backing thing like prevents slipping. It stays put really well. Have
and
you
I love the
that?
circle. Yes, and the circle is great too, where it doesn't bunch up like a towel would.
Yeah, the circle shape is really ingenious. It stays put under the bodies so well and like fits under.
Well done. And it's completely waterproof too, where nothing goes through that barrier. It's like the same thing as a nice like mattress cover.
Yeah, and it's absorbent too on the top. I think what I was worried about, and this is why we test out products for a while, is that it would like pool. I don't know if anybody's had a like waterproof mattress protector before. It's like it almost beads and then runs off the mattress.
Yes.
I was like, that's going to be really gross. If
You don't get that with a Layer.
Not with a Layer.
Yeah. Those other fucking products? Yeah, sure. Fellas, is cum getting everywhere? Like, is there just cum, semen, left and right? The Layer will provide protection where just when it shoots, it goes right in here and absorbs on here, and then you just throw it in the washing machine. You put a little detergent on there. All that cum is gone. The Layer.
Ladies, do you get extra horny at that time of the month? Have no fear. With The Layer, you'll see all of that blood disappear. I made that into a poem.
Guys, are you still trying to have sex when your wife is bleeding? The Layer will provide. You're probably still going to get blood on your penis and balls, but the Layer will make sure it doesn't get on your sheets. The Layer.
Friends, are you tired of struggling with those towels and old dirty rags? Get The Layer. Upgrade your period sex game.
Guys, do you want to have sex and then change your oil in your car without getting any of that pesky oil on the cement? The Layer will provide that for you. The Layer available on my wife's Instagram page.
Do you want to try a new product? And do you want 10% off while doing it? Type sex ed for you at checkout for 10% off The Layer.
Don't be a fucking asshole. Use the promo code Layer Seffi. What's the promo code?
Sex ed for you.
Sex ed for you.
No spaces.
It should have been Seffi, the Layer.
Trey loves an acronym.
Yeah, shout out to
Holland. Holland the intern giving us Seffi. Trey loves it. Trey loves it. Another thing I love about The Layer is, like ingenious product, not a big, huge store. Like this is going to really support someone.
It's made in America. It's made by like a lady?
It came up, like, just do your research.
Who's the person?
You're going to have to go back because I'm not prepared for that.
We did no homework on this
please
product.
Don't do that part.
But fucking buy it.
I will feel bad. I'll feel bad. She's like going to watch this and is sharing.
Oh, it's going to be in there, left and right. We love your product. We did zero research on your product. Brought to you by The Layer.
We did lots of research.
Our research isn't very layered.
We did lots of personal research.
Yeah. We're going to go do some research after this. Layer.
You do all our laundry. Has it been easy to wash? Has it caused a problem? Has it done anything?
Easy as hell.
Okay. Yeah. I thoroughly enjoy it.
This is my favorite, sex towel.
Yeah. We used normal towels for a really long time, and it was very annoying. Yeah. We tried different sizes. We used bath towels. We used stand towels. It was just, a mess. This is very nice. And it stays put. Whatever fabric they're using on the back, it's great.
Great.
Other period sex things. Does it bother you? Is the texture different? Are you working?
I'm checking the timer. I'm not on Instagram, babe. You jealous?
You two called me out last night. I'm not going to be doing those things anymore. I'm a changed woman. Listen. Period sex. Is there any part of it as a penis owner that is, I don't know, unpleasant, feels different? Yeah.
No, it's awesome.
Okay.
Yeah. We don't have any qualms about, I can get it where one person feels gross. I understand all of that, but I think the overwhelming majority of men are not going to have an issue with it. Yeah, maybe some guys, and then you just, I don't know, you don't have sex on your period? I don't fucking know the answer, because we have sex constantly while you're bleeding.
Sounds very strange. Reminder, everybody, that sex doesn't only mean penetrative penis and vagina intercourse, that there are so many other things to do while someone is menstruating, and that perhaps you could play around again. You could remember what it feels like to make out and rub up against each other. And I think we so often are like, well, if we can't, especially hetero couples, have penetrative intercourse, we can't do anything. And that's just a load of bull crap.
Yeah, there's plenty of fun, perverted things to do.
So many.
So much fun.
And so I just get sad for folks who are denying themselves pleasure, because an orgasm, again, as we started this whole episode, can be so good for hormone regulation, for reducing cramps, for relieving migraines, all these things that do happen with menstruation, that so many vagina owners think of sex as something they're giving, and they're like, I feel so bad, I can't possibly give my husband sex. And I'm always like, but what if the sex was for you too? What if this was pleasurable to you? So I would just say to all my menstruating people who listen, tell your partner what would feel good. If you want to wear your favorite sexy panties and be kissed upon and touched and play with a vibrator with your partner, and then do some mutual masturbation and watch them jerk off and let this be a fun thing, do that. There is still every reason for intimacy and orgasm and fun and play that can feel really good for the body, even if you don't want to use the layer and have penetrative intercourse. Like, we need to remember our imaginations. Yeah. It can be so good for everybody. I don't want to be touched. It's like, I understand that the body is, yes, like shedding a lining of a uterus. And what if it's not one more thing we give? What if it is an escape, like we said in the very beginning? What if it is a break? What if it is something that really feels good to your body? But that takes each of us listening to ourselves. Be like Lauren. Be like horny Lauren going to Manhattan. Get yourself what you want. Get it.
Love you, baby.
Love you. So last but not least, I'm going to ask you very boldly and bravely, if you would, on Apple Podcasts or Spotify, would you rate this podcast and leave a review?
Don't do it.
Or on YouTube, would you like and subscribe?
Don't. We don't need your fucking... Do not do it.
It would mean the world to us.
Don't
It
be a
increases viewership and increases our audience.
Don't give a shit.
You know how the algorithm works as well as I do. The more people who rate this podcast and interact with this podcast, the more folks are able to see it. It really means the world to me. And thanks so much to each of you who take time to reach out and let me know when you do things like play the 3-minute game or talk about these things with your partners of your own. It's so exciting to see how this podcast
I
is
don't
helping
like
you
any of you.
in your relationships and in your partnerships at work and at home. Y'all are the best. Have an awesome rest of your
Have
day.
a terrible day.